welcome to the Stanley Street Social Podcast, Michael Thor. It's great to have you on board on the second rest day of the Vuelta. We're at the second rest day, and you yourself has bagged 2 stage wins. You on cloud 9 at the moment?
Yeah, super happy. Like when I came to the Vuelta, I was dreaming of like 1 stage win. That would be absolutely incredible. And then when I got 2, couldn't believe it. Yeah, I still can't believe it.
What like heading into this Vuelta, you've done I was looking at your pro cycling stats before. You've done the Vuelta every year. Like
Yeah.
how has your progression evolved kind of as you go through each one?
Yeah, it's like at the Vuelta, it's super clear. Like in 2018, my goal was just to finish the Vuelta. That was literally it. I never followed any attacks, never tried to go on the breakaway. Like I'd help Wilco, back then our GC leader, and then make sure I have enough energy to make it to the finish line. Then like 2019, I wanted to get in a breakaway. I think I got in like 1 or 2. I got in 2 breakaways that year. That was my goal, and then I was super happy with that. Then last year, I was 3rd on a stage and also had like a top 10 and 2 top 20s. So then I made the next step this year.
Yeah, nice. Was like it's a nice linear path up the trajectory of getting to a stage victory. Were those first couple of years challenging, like mentally, because you came out of such a successful under 23 squad, and like it's one of the hardest steps to make is that under 23s to World Tour, but then the next hardest step is World Tour to winning World Tour races.
Yeah, it's like in 2018, 2019, I could see so many areas of improvement. Because in under 23s, you think you're a good rider, you think you're a good climber, and then I'm in the gruppetto with the sprinters every day. Yeah, it's a very different thing, and you see like tactically, technically, even physically, there's just so much improvement to be made.
So what did you do? Like, what did you do from that first Vuelta?
After that, I just continue to like look where I can improve and just work on things just gradually. You just have to think of the long term, and then there's also like short-term victories. I go, okay, like the next year try and get in a breakaway, and that's my goal. Aside from helping like the team leader and other team goals, sometimes they're the same thing, but it's just like looking for those next steps to keep improving. And like even now, like I've won 2 stages, but I still see areas where I can keep improving.
What were the major ones to start off with? Was there anything that was like, oh, it's nutrition or it's race strategy, or was it just broadly, I just need to level up everything?
It was broad, but definitely, bike handling, descending, cornering, those things definitely needed working on first, I think, because without that, there's no point in being fast or lean, because anyway, maybe I get dropped on a descent. Like I still see guys that are strong riders up the hill, but then they can't keep up down the hill, and then it's just an Achilles heel for them. So that was the first thing that really needed working on.
We saw proof that has been successfully completed as you haul down the descent into your second stage win. It is an interesting point though. Like it's something that everyone talks about, nutrition, everyone talks about data, and everyone talks about paddle weight and how quick, how much effort you're putting out. But you never really train to descent. Like you go probably a bit too fast out sometimes down descents and training, but there's no real environment to train for descending. It's like, was there anything in particular that you did to get to the point you're at now?
learned how to do it properly. Like I got lessons on how to do it.
Who taught you?
Yeah, and then as a mountain biker, because downhill mountain biker, because that is all they do. It's just the skills part for them. Yeah, it's just all about riding a bike fast down the hill. They don't care about power. They don't care about weight. It's just pure bike handling.
And what kind of skills did he have you doing? Because you were like the first person I've ever talked to that said, I actually train going down hills.
Yeah, just the basics, because that is literally like most of it. Just braking points, body position on the bike, reading the road, looking ahead, seeing which line you should take, seeing if there's any holes, any sand and things like that.
Yeah.
And then literally, if you just like, I never have to, on that stage I won on the descent. Like I could have done that descent faster, but I didn't need to. I was like, okay, I'll just focus on taking a good line, braking in the right spots, and then you don't need to push it to the absolute limit to descend quickly. Like you can have room for error but still be fast.
So now you hit, so this year you hit every descent and you can confidently say like you're relaxed to the top, you know you're going to make it down to the bottom, you know you've got all the right things in place. That's pretty cool.
And then also, like, often in the races, I maybe on a corner or two I actually lose the wheel a bit, but then I know that like some people, maybe they're a bit more inconsistent on the corners, and I know that okay, I take the next two, 3 corners good, and then I don't even need to pedal to close the gap again.
You sometimes see like when a GC leader, like a super climber, but can't isn't a, even if they're not a bad descender, it's not like a strength of theirs. And you see these other GC guys going on the attack, and it feels so uncomfortable. And you're just like, oh, like every corner is just like difficult. But being able to get through that must be amazing. It must be the best feeling.
It's still, then again, I still have, I'm still not the best guy at it, but yeah, I think I'm always smooth as fast, because if you start risking, then you'll get nervous and think you might crash. And
are you still working with this guy?
That's fine. No, I literally just did one lesson with him, but then took all the points and then practiced it for, it took me definitely 6 months to get it right, just because I had to make some pretty radical changes in how I did it. And then I could already see, like, in the racing, it's just coming into descents and not worrying about the descent too much. Like, there's guys that go down quicker still. There's some guys that go down nuts, but I'm definitely above average.
For the listeners at home, is there one tip, one thing that really clicked that you're like, oh, that helps a significant amount?
When you descend, body position is the most important thing. I don't actually sit on the seat on a descent. It's probably,
so you're always on the pedals.
Through the corner. Always on the pedals. That's how mountain bikers do it. That's why they have the saddle drop, I think, is actually because they don't actually sit on the seat at all.
Just when you come into the corners, or through the whole descent?
Corners, and if it's bumpy.
Yeah, right. And it makes that much of a difference.
Oh, massive.
How good is that? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So moving on for descending, heading into this year, obviously you said last year you got that third on the stage, which was awesome, because also you were going for the win, like you're going for the race win. Then this year bagged your first stage.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, didn't you win everything at Tour de Lan? You won yellow.
I won
jersey,
a stage,
KOM.
and then every jersey apart from the young riders.
Yeah.
Because at 24, I'm old now.
Yeah. Was that massive for your confidence? You're talking about confidence ascending. What about confidence, like just with everything else? There's many other aspects of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that was massive because yeah, when you're used to not winning things, and I'd gone like 4 years without winning a race, 2 of those years, definitely getting my head kicked in like every race I go to, and then 2020 like getting close but not quite enough. It's massive to actually be the best guy in a race,
Mm.
because even though it's Tour de Land, it's still tough competition, and like a lot of the guys that were doing good at Tour de Land are also some of the stronger guys here as well. There's
Yeah,
some similar names.
yeah. How did you find 2 years? Because like you guys always win a lot when you're younger. It's why why you get to where you are. You're the best of that crop, and then you come out of
Yeah,
that, and then you go into a block where it doesn't always. Some guys just somehow roll into winning again, but a lot of the time
yeah,
there's a bit of a dead spot. Like, was that starting to play with you a bit mentally?
yeah. Like at times I thought maybe I'd be one of those professional riders that do a 2-year contract and then doesn't have a contract anymore as a worst case scenario, or maybe I'd be one of those riders that never wins a race in their career. Yeah, my that's why Tour de Land meant so much for me, because I spent a period of there still working on everything, hoping that I can get to the level to win a race, but you also don't know until you do it. There's always some doubt.
And does it make you believe a bit more? So Tour de Line heading into the Vuelta, is it like, well,
Yeah,
I can win now?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like, okay, I can win a race. It's really is like that. And then heading to here, I'm like, okay, like I got good form, I got some confidence, I know how to win a race, and then but then also doing it on the day as a whole. You also have to do it right. But yeah, on stage 7 when I won that first one, I didn't make any mistakes actually. Like looking back on it, it went perfectly.
Yeah. Well, um, you look at the guys on the guys in the breakaway. You chose one of the trickiest days to win from the breakaway, and the guys here beat Verona, Sivakov, Kus, Haig, Bardet, Groschnager. Like, it is a hot breakaway, and that was just the
Yeah.
front group in the end.
Mm,
You had to make the initial breakaway, which, like you talked about
yeah.
beforehand, you don't just put your name on a list and sign up to
Yeah.
the breakaway.
Yeah, definitely not, because it wasn't just on like strength either, because we went, it's flat section, then we did the climb, I think 15 minutes, probably above 6 watts per kilo, of course. And then you do the descent, still hadn't gone, and then then it was like choosing the right move after on the flatter sections, because then I was actually with an initial group of 6. I actually had 2 teammates in that group of 6. So it was 3 of us in a group of 6, and then the big group came from behind, and that's had the Bardet and those other people you just listed.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it just normal now just be climbing at 6 watts a kilo? That's just the norm.
Yeah,
And how many
it
watts is that for you?
always depends how long the climb is, but yeah, the level is pretty high. Like I'm like 63 kilos at the moment. Yeah, so dropped a bit of weight since a few years ago. But yeah, like often people would do like the front group. I remember at the Giro, I think like you have to be doing like 6.2 watts per kilo for a good half an hour to be in the game, in the GC group.
Put your hat in the ring.
And to win from that, you need to be doing 6.3, 6.4.
Some big numbers,
Yeah.
especially in a grand tour. How are you finding, like, with another one of those factors, like just the evolution of your strength as a bike rider, just getting through a grand tour, like your first Vuelta you ever did. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, I was broken
Uh,
at the end of that photo. Like, yeah.
and so now
Also mentally.
we're at the second rest day. Hey, like, you feeling good? Like, could you go again?
Yeah. Like, you mean in a breakaway or?
Yeah, like you feeling like you're going to race the last section of the Vuelta compared to that, like comparing it to that first Vuelta where you were
Yeah.
just trying to get through.
Yeah, I think I'll take it as it comes. But yeah, I also need to look at the days, and because I think I only have one more breakaway day in me, maximum two. Because I could get in a breakaway, but yeah, or maybe I can support a teammate. But yeah, I don't want to go on a breakaway if I can't do anything, because then it's also not worth it. You
Yeah.
have to be really smart with the day you choose, and maybe one of those mountain days. I could see Jumbo Visma needs to go full to actually get the red jersey back. They're confident that they can get it back in the TT, but I think they don't want to take risk, and I think they'll attack the race on one of the mountain days.
Mm-hmm. Back to stage 7. So you're talking about it was one of the hardest days, the terrain, but it was also one of the hardest days to actually make the move. Like there was selections from selections from selections from selections. Had it, like we talked about with the descending, you can train that. Can you train like how to make the right moves? Like how does that evolve as a rider?
Yeah. That's more about knowing your competition and experience, like knowing how the races always evolve, because after a few years you've kind of done every situation that you come across. Now it's starting to be pretty rare that there's not a situation I'm not familiar with. So then you go, okay, this is looking like it's this scenario, and then you work off that.
So what were you looking for on stage 7? What were the key indicators that you needed to keep track of?
Yeah. A lot of things. How many people are attacking, the profile of the course, because not when the GC riders start following moves, you can't actually get away on the climb because they just follow in a big long line. So it's not possible to actually escape these guys on the climb. So then you look for the flatter sections and then attack over the top. Look to who's attacking. Try and follow when you can, rather than putting your nose in the wind is also a good idea. But sometimes you also need to attack yourself.
Then when you get to that like bigger group, see the actual, what was the start of the breakaways formed? Like were you looking at riders, or what was the composition you were looking for like this move is going to go to the final?
Yeah, you just see how much time the peloton is giving you, because in that circumstance, if they want to ride you back, they will. It's also, you also need to see that, because if they started riding hard, then I'm not sure if we would have or wanted to commit. We did have the numbers there, but yeah, it's not a common tactic for us to ride a pace on the front of a breakaway.
So then we head into the final climb, which was like, it just looks out of control in terms of how steep it was. Were you nervous? Like how desperate did you want that win? You've come third before on the stage. We've talked about the evolution of the Vuelta for you from that first one you ever did. Were you nervous as I was heading into that final climb?
Yeah, I was nervous, but also at the same time, so focused that I wasn't even thinking about the win, thinking about anything. I was literally just thinking about beating Verona and Sivakov up this last climb. It wasn't even about winning a Vuelta stage. It was, I just need to beat these guys, get to the finish before them. And then, yeah, it's just, yeah, when you have to go so deep, I really, didn't think about anything else, had such a narrow focus. You hardly remember to salute when you cross the line. Yeah, it's really, it's a different kind of feeling. I also had the
Was
same
like,
stage 10. Yeah.
do you find extra, like, did you go deeper than you've ever gone before in terms of effort and exhaustion? Like, do you find that a little bit more when there's a welter stage win on the line?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you find some extra limits, just a little bit more. Yeah, you can just hold on for a few extra minutes, I think.
And then when does it become reality? Like, when do you go out of that extreme focus? When do you come back to the finish and
That
go,
that day was about
it happened, I
20
won the stage?
meters from the line. 20 meters from the line, I realized that I won it.
And then do you just
Yeah,
have emotions galore? Like, what does it feel like to
yeah,
win a stage?
yeah. It's just like that feeling where you don't believe it's real. It's it's hard to describe. It's like it's something you imagine, but you also doubt if it'll ever happen or not. And then you have to keep reminding yourself that you actually made it.
And like, do you fall asleep that night just going, like, on this whole nother planet, you are a stage winner?
Yeah. Yeah, it took a while to fall asleep that night.
Um,
Yeah, I was just buzzing for ages.
and then you got to back up the next day. Is that weird? Like, backing up the next day, or do you back up the next day with a whole nother level of confidence?
Yes. Yeah, the next day it was like a sprint day, and also the kind of day I don't like with the coastal roads, because you have to stay focused those whole days, the whole stage, because there's a little bit of wind here and there, a little bit of crosswind, there's road furniture, there's crowds, also some people that don't realize that they shouldn't stand on the road and take a selfie, not facing the bunch. That was a different day, I think, but yeah, same people. Um, yeah, you just have to stay focused not to end up in a silly crash.
the onto the second stage that you won, stage 10. Again, found yourself in a select big breakaway.
Mm.
Was it a different feeling being in that breakaway, knowing that you'd already won the stage? Was there a little bit less on your shoulders?
Yeah, a little bit less. Yeah, I also knew that I could have a good chance, but also nothing to lose because I'd already won a stage. So I'm like, okay, if I can win another one, that's a bonus. Like, I still try my best, but it doesn't. I'm so more daring. Like, I'm like, you sort of hold less. I'm not worried if I make a mistake here or there. Yeah, I just wanted to have a go. And yeah, then also tactically, I just wanted it to be decided on that climb. And then yeah, luckily it was nice and hard. And then if I have extra, then I attack over it and try and get a nice buffer for the descent.
And then fly down the descent. It must. And did
Yeah.
you feel like you had it at the top? Like, when did you feel like the stage was yours?
Like 500 meters to go.
Yeah.
Always really
Okay.
late for me when I think I had the stage, because yeah, I think I had 25 seconds, and on that descent there's actually a fair bit of pedaling, so maybe a group was a little bit advantaged as well. because they could get slipstream, they can really sprint through. So maybe it's a little bit quicker. And also when there's like different guys leading the descent, you also get a bit of mental fatigue when you have to do all those things I said before, like with going through the corners. If you're following someone, you don't have to, they're kind of doing the reading for you. So it's a little bit less mentally fatiguing, I guess, because on a long descent, like by the end of it, you're sort of mentally tired, and maybe you don't quite do the corners as well. But if you're following someone, then they do it for you and you just blindly follow them.
Yeah.
So it's also that as well.
Except like we saw the other night where Seb Van Mark came flying into the corner, and the BH rider behind him trusted him and came flying into the back of him, and it didn't quite work out so well for them. And then what happened? Well, like, what's it like having two stage wins? Are you like, I'm welcome to the World Tour. Like, I'm here. Michael Storer has arrived. Two stage wins in the bag, rolling around the pillow.
Yeah.
It couldn't get much better than that.
Yeah, like I'm definitely no longer anonymous in the peloton, and we really saw that tactically yesterday as well. It's everyone there was racing for me not to win.
Yeah.
It's a third stage win. I'd have to get everything right, plus be strong, plus others would have to make mistakes. Yeah, I'd need a brutally tough course.
Yeah.
I've made my life much, much more difficult.
And next year you're heading to FDJ, new team, new squad. What are you hoping for? What's next for Michael Storer? Like, where does the career evolve from here?
Yeah, it's kind of, they're putting me in that role of like final GC support. Groupama's goal is, being a French team, it's to do well in the Tour de France and also win the Tour. So hopefully, obviously, after being good form, have a good season, etc. But yeah, I'd like to do the Tour de France one day. That's also my other goal, is just to ride the Tour, and also similar thing to what I do now. Like I want to try and win races where I can as well. And not quite. Maybe 1 week stage races could also be a goal. But yeah, definitely that's enough for now.
Do you think you could ever become a GC rider? Can you ever see yourself, you talk about in the short term, riding the Tour de France, being support late in the mountains for FDJ, but do you think that ever could become Michael Storer leading a team into a Grand Tour?
Yeah, I think I could know maybe in 2 years. I need to see how I keep improving. Yeah, maybe in a year or two.
To wrap things up, we talked at the start about those pieces of the puzzle that you needed to improve on. Like, what is there something that you're really focused in on for the next couple of years to take yourself to that next level?
Yeah, I think I've been focusing a lot on like trying to get the most out of myself, sort of physically wise, watts per kilo, those sort of things, recently. But yeah, I think it's another broad thing. There's lots of little areas where I go, this could be these set. Yeah, also like yesterday also like team tactics, like that's another thing where you can use your teammates or have that like communication better with the sports director, things like that, like other little things that you'd never expect that can sometimes make the difference.
Yeah,
There's all these other things around that
yeah
can help.
Well, Michael Storer, it's been an unbelievable welter for yourself. A huge congratulations on this year, the progression over the last 4 years. We're very excited to see you bag a couple of stage wins and look forward to watching you through the rest of the welter and then also progress onto FDJ. Exciting times ahead. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks.